Today we're going to learn about horizontal and vertical lines. So we've been learning about the equation of a line so far, and today we're going to look at two very specific types of lines, lines that are horizontal and lines that are vertical. So we're going to start first with horizontal lines. So a horizontal line is a line that goes from left to right. You could describe it as being flat if you want. Some people try to say, well, it's a straight line, but all lines are straight. So horizontal lines are flat lines. They are like the horizon, right? They go from left to right. So first question here in our little investigation that we're going to do into horizontal lines says record any 4 points from the line. So I am just at random going to choose 4 points, and then I'm going to write down their coordinates. So I think I'm going to pick this one, this one, this one, and that one. So you could pick any 4 that you like. I just happen to pick these 4. So when you're recording a coordinate, you always do the x part first, and then the y, which is the opposite to slope. Slope always does the y first and then the x. So this first point is at -2 and 3. So my first point here is -2 and 3. The next point I picked was the y-intercept. It is 0 and 3. And then the next one I picked was this one, which is 1 and 3. And then our last one is 6 and 3. Okay, so the question says next, what do you notice about the points in the table? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. All right, I'm not sure what you noticed, but I noticed that all of the y values are exactly the same. They are all the number 3. So I'm going to write down all of the y values are 3. You could also say all of the y values are the same. Okay, question number 3 says, state the y-intercept of the line. So the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, and it is crossing the y-axis at 3. So for y-intercept, we use the letter b. So I'm going to say b equals 3. Okay, up next it says determine the slope of the line. So slope is m. It's a weird letter choice, but that's okay. And we calculate slope using the change in y over the change in x, or delta y over delta x, or rise over run, if you want to call it that. I like to use delta y over delta x. So what we're going to do is I like to start at the y-intercept and then pick another point on the line, and we're going to count out how do I get from this point to this point. Well, to get from this point to this point, did I move up or down? Nope. I didn't go up or down at all, but I did go over 1. So how is that going to translate into my slope? Well, my change in y, we didn't go up, we didn't go down, so that would be 0. And then on the x, I went over 1, so that would be over 1. So my slope is 0 divided by 1. Now, what is 0 divided by 1? It's just 0. So my slope here is 0. So this line is flat, right? It's not going up or down, so it has a slope of 0. So horizontal lines have a slope of 0. Do they all have a y-intercept of 3? No, I don't think so. That's just this particular line. Okay, so the last part says state the equation of the line. So equation of a line we've been working on has been y equals mx plus b. So I know m, the slope, and I know b, the y-intercept. So I can say y equals m0 x and then plus b, so plus 3. So we could say the equation of the line is y equals 0x plus 3, and that's fine. But 0 times anything is 0. So this would also be y equals 0 plus 3, and 0 plus 3 is just 3. So you could write y equals 0x plus 3, and that's fine. But you could also just write y equals 3. Now, I'm going to ask you to take a minute and look at all the information that we've written down about that horizontal line. Do you see some connection between the equation y equals 3 and any of the information in the question? Okay, I'm going to go back to that table, and we said what we noticed in the table was that in that table all of the y values are 3. So here my equation worked out to be y equals 3, because it doesn't matter what x is, y is always just going to be 3. You probably also noticed that it just equals the y-intercept, right? But in our table, all of our y values came out to be the same number, and then that's how we ended up with y equals 3. Okay, you can join me in the next video, and we will talk about vertical lines.